Yat A, Shike Do, Shirane, She Annalisa Rockbridge Winshia. Yes, all is good. I'm Annalisa Rockbridge, and I hope I'm not the headless yogi. I hope you guys can see me okay. My beautiful plants have officially taken over my living space, and I'm okay with that. Hopefully you've had enough time to roll out your mat and join me on the floor in a Sukhasana position. I'm going to have my trusty block here for me to elevate the floor for me to support my torn meniscus that I have. And let's take 3 cleansing breaths together to connect with our breath. So let's root down through the sit bones. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose and feel how the chest rises up. Open the mouth, make some noise as you sigh out the air. Very nice. Let's do that again. Nice deep breath in through the nose, letting the chest rise up. Open mouth, sigh, exhale, let everything go. Let's build onto that. Continue to root down through the sit bones and take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Feel how the chest rises up. Pause at the top of your breath and then allow the shoulder heads to move away from the ears. And then open mouth, sigh, exhale, let everything go. Let's do that one more time. Nice, deep, slow breath in through the nose. Allowing a pause at the top of your breath and then allow the shoulder heads to move away from the ears. Open mouth, sigh, exhale, let everything go. Let's continue to build onto that. So root down deep through the sit bones. Take a nice, smooth, deep breath into the nose. Pause at the top of your breath, allowing space between the ears and the shoulder heads. Maybe sip in just a little bit more air. And then open mouth, sigh, exhale, let everything go. One more time together. Nice, smooth, gentle breath into the nose. Pause at the top of your breath. Maybe sip in just a little bit more air. Open mouth, sigh, exhale, let everything go. Very nice. Let's start connecting our body and our breath to our movement. Coming into our hands and knees. Allow the shoulder heads to stack directly. Actually, allow the hands to be a little bit wider than the shoulder distance, but allow the knees to stack directly underneath the hips. On an inhale, lift your right and your left foot up. Extend your right foot behind you and your right hand in front of you. As you exhale, open up to the side for a modified Vashisthasana. Root down through your left hand. Left knee is still in contact with the mat. And then if you like, go ahead and lift up that right leg if you like to this afternoon. When you're ready, as you exhale, the right hand and the right knee come down towards the mat. Pause in this nice neutral tabletop position. Root down through your hands. And then when you're ready, as you inhale, extend your left hand out and left foot behind you. As you exhale, open up to the left. So your left blade of the foot is sealing the back of the mat, and the right hand is pushing down into the mat. So we're in a side plank. Nice deep breath here, spread across the chest and the collarbones. And then as you exhale, the left hand and then left knee come down towards the mat. Walk your hands forward about 1 inch or 2. Tuck your toes and then hover your knees just to activate the core. Hips come up and back into your first Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. In this down dog, let's look at our hands. Make sure all 10 fingers are pointing forward. If you have a previous wrist injury like me, turn your hands out to the side and then push down into your hands so that the upper outer arms rotate down towards the mat and the flesh of the biceps rotates up towards the ears. As we take a peek back at our feet, maybe we rise up high onto the tippy toes, put a deep bend in the knees, and then find extra space and length in the lower back and the sides by lifting the hips up into the sky. When you're ready, as you exhale, both of the heels start to move down towards the mat. They never have to touch, but allow them to tuck behind the second toe. So display the heels outwards. Do any rituals that you like to do in Adho Mukha Svanasana, down dog. Maybe that might be pedaling out your feet, wagging your tail. And then let's begin to walk our way up towards the top of the mat, putting a nice deep bend into the knees. Lean forward into your toes, shifting all the weight into the tippy toes. Using your hand as traction to stop yourself from toppling over, begin to straighten your legs any amount that is comfortable to you. Uttanasana, forward fold. Hands come onto the hips, strong legs and strong spine rise you all the way up into the sky. Hi, everybody. So let's walk our way up to the top of the mat and find Tadasana. So root down through your big toe, root down through your pinky toe, find the outer edges of your heels. And if you're finding that you're having a stability, maybe open the feet up to hips distance apart. This might alleviate any pressure on the lower back. Allow the kneecaps to draw up the legs. This is going to activate the thighs and the hamstrings. Draw the tailbone down towards the mat by lifting the frontal hip points up. And then draw your frontal ribs back towards the spine, picking the back ribs up off of the waist. Allow the hands to rest gently next to your waist as the shoulder heads continue to move down away from the ears. The gaze is soft and a drishti in front of you. That is a point that isn't moving. For me, it's the key ring in front of me. And then if you like, maybe the hands can float into the center of the chest as the gaze begins to drop down towards the horizon, and maybe the eyes gently close. Allowing ourselves to maybe set an intention for the rest of this practice or the rest of our week. When you're ready, allow the hands to float down towards your waist. With it, inhale, float the arms forward and above, allowing the pinkies to lead up towards the sky for a full external rotation in the shoulders. Grow tall at the size of your waist. As you exhale, hinge over your thighs, Uttanasana, forward fold. Keep shifting the weight forward into your toes. As you inhale, come up halfway with a long spine by drawing the hands underneath the knees. As you exhale, step the right foot back and then the left foot back as you come to a top of a push-up. Allow both knees to come down towards the mat and then bend the elbows halfway down for Chaturanga Dandasana. As you exhale, unroll your entire body onto the mat. Push down into the tops of the feet by drawing the ankles in towards each other. Push down into your pubic bone and then slide your hands back next to your ribs. Draw the elbows into each other. As you push down into your hands, lift your forehead and your shoulder heads away from the mat. Bhunjani Asana, Baby Cobra. Exhale, push down into your hips. Lift the hips up and back for Adho Mukha Svanasana, Downward Facing Dog. In this first down dog from our Surya Namaskar A, maybe just recognize the heat that we're starting to make within the body. Take a look up at the hands. As the right foot steps up and then the left foot steps up, come up halfway for a long spine, Ardha Uttanasana. As you exhale, fold back over the thighs. Inhale to stand all the way up into the sky. As you exhale, hands come straight down the center, Samastitihi. Let's do that again. As you inhale, float the arms forward and above. Grow tall through the sides of the waist as you pick the back of the ribs up off the thigh, back of the wrist. As you exhale, hinge over your thighs, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, draw the shoulder heads away from the ears as you keep your gaze straight down at the floor. Ardha Uttanasana. As you exhale, left foot steps back and then the right foot steps back. You're at a top of a push-up. Shift forward onto your toes and then bend the elbows halfway for Chaturanga Dandasana. Keep the hips lifted. Flip over the tops of the feet. Push into the hands and lift the sternum and the chest up for Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, Upward Facing Dog. As you exhale, hips come up and back, Downward Facing Dog. Taking 2 to 3 breaths here in Down Dog. Maybe just recognizing how maybe the breath has changed and the exhales are beginning to shorten. As we look up at our hands, the left foot steps up and then the right foot steps up. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. As you exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, stand all the way up into the sky. Exhale, hands come straight down the center, Samasthiti. One more time. Inhale, float the arms forward and above. Grow tall. As you exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Keep shifting the weight forward into the toes as you lift your head up for Ardha Uttanasana. Hop, step, or jump back, landing in Chaturanga. Choosing your back bend for an inhale. If you're doing Urdhva Mukha, push down into the finger and the thumb to protect the wrist with a micro bend in the elbows. As you exhale, hips come up and back, downward facing dog. And then from your down dog, again, just recognizing your breath. Taking a peek up at the hands. We're either going to hop, step, or jump up to the top of the mat. With an inhale, come up halfway for Ardha Uttanasana. As you exhale, fold back over the thighs. Inhale to stand all the way up into the sky. And then as you exhale, hands come straight down the center, Samasthiti. Very nice. Let's continue to move and flow. With an inhale, arms flow out to the side and then above your head. Let the palms seal and look up at the thumbs. Exhale, hinge over your thighs, Uttanasana, forward fold. Keep shifting the weight forward as you inhale, lift up halfway for a long spine, Ardha Uttanasana. As you exhale, the right foot steps back, and we're going to stay onto the tippy toes. Draw that left hip back and rise up for Anjaneyasana, crescent pose. There can be a nice, deep, generous bend in the back right knee, but continue to draw your pubic bone and your frontal hip points up towards the frontal ribs. Draw your frontal ribs back towards the spine. When you're ready, both hands come down towards the mat. The right foot steps up. Come up halfway for a long spine, Ardha Uttanasana. As you exhale, left foot steps back, and we're coming back into that same crescent pose. Draw the right hip back. Inhale, lift the hands up and above your head. Again, there can be a deep, generous bend in that left knee, but continue to draw the right hip back and guide that left hip forward. Pick the back of the ribs up off the waist to continue to grow tall in this Anjaneyasana crescent. Exhale, both hands come down towards the mat. The right foot steps back. Yogi's choice to either move it through a vinyasa or skip it altogether and meet us in downward facing dog. When you arrive in Adho Mukha Svanasana, look up at your hands. The right foot's going to step up to the right thumb, and then the left heel seals the back of the mat with 45-degree angle. Draw the right hip back as you inhale, rise up to Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Continue to put a nice, deep, generous bend in that right knee, drawing the right hip back and guiding the left hip forward. Keep drawing the lower belly in and up. Maybe the palms seal at the top of your head. As you exhale, hands come down towards the mat. Right foot steps back, choosing to either move it through a vinyasa or pull your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Looking up at the left hand, left foot steps up. Seal the back of the mat with the right foot at a 45-degree angle. When you're ready, as we inhale, rise up through Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Sink a little bit deeper into that left knee as you draw the left hip back. Continue to draw the right thigh, inner thigh up towards the back of the wall. Pull the frontal ribs in as you grow tall, and maybe we look up at our thumbs. As you exhale, hands come down towards the center. How quietly can we shift forward and pick up our left foot and step it back? Either choosing your variation of a vinyasa or skipping it all together. From downward facing dog, let's take a peek up at our hands. Right foot steps up, and then the left foot steps up. Come up halfway for a long spine, Ardha Uttanasana. As you exhale, sink your hips into your heels. Lift the chest and the sternum for Utkatasana chair pose. As you exhale, hands come straight down the center, Samasthiti. Very nice, everybody. Let's continue to build onto that. Surya Namaskar B. As you inhale, float the arms up and above your head. Sink your hips into your heels. Look down at your toes. Make sure that you can see them. If you can't see them, continue to draw your shins back. Sink a little bit lower. Draw the tailbone down towards the heels. Draw the lower belly in and up. And then maybe we keep that deep bend in the knees. As you exhale, fold over your thighs, Uttanasana. Keep shifting the weight forward into the toes as you inhale for a long spine, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, move it through your version of a vinyasa. So Urdhva Mukha Vinyasa. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana for a back bend. And then Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Let's not skip a beat. Let's step the right foot up to the right thumb. Seal the back of the mat at a 45-degree angle. Draw the right hip back and inhale for Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. As you exhale, use the same breath to ride you all the way down through Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale for your back bend. Exhale, hips come up and back, downward facing dog. With an inhale, step the left foot up to the left thumb, sealing the back of the mat. Inhale, hands flow up and above your head. As you exhale, using the same breath, ride you all the way through Chaturanga. Inhale to find your back bend. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Let's take 3 to 5 breaths here in this downward facing dog. Recognizing the heat that we're cultivating within our body. Noticing how our inhales have shortened, as well as our exhales. We can either hop, step, or jump up to the top of the mat. With an inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Keep the gaze straight down the mat. Exhale, fold over the thighs, Uttanasana. Sink into the hips, lift the sternum and the chest up into the sky, Utkatasana chair. Exhale, hands come straight down the center, Samasthiti. Let's do that again. Arms flow up and above, next to your ears. Sink your hips into your heels. Keep drawing down through the tailbone and lifting the lower belly in and up. Deep bend in the knees. As you exhale, fold over your thighs, Uttanasana, forward fold. Shift forward into the toes. Inhale for Ardha Uttanasana. Pull the shoulder heads away from the ears. Exhale, hop, step, or jump back, moving it through your vinyasa or skipping it all together. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Keep a micro bend in the elbows to keep drawing the shoulder heads back and away from each other. Exhale, hips come up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale to step up through Virabhadrasana 1. Maybe the palms seal and we look up at our thumbs. Exhale, Chaturanga, or skip it all together. Stepping the left foot up to the left hand. Inhale, rising up through Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, all the way down through your vinyasa. Taking 2 to 3 breaths here in down dog. Continuing to push down into all 10 fingers and evenly distributing the weight into all 10 toes. Keep drawing the hips up and back. You're doing wonderful. Look up at the hands. Left foot steps up and then the right. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. As we exhale, sink the hips into the heels and lift the sternum and the chest up. Utkatasana chair pose. Keep lifting that lower belly in and up. As you exhale, hands come straight into the center, Samasthiti. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, arms flow up next to the ears. Sink the hips into the heels, Utkatasana chair pose. Keep that deep, generous bend in your knees. As you exhale, fold over your thighs. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway with a long spine. Ardha Uttanasana, you're doing great. Choosing to float, hop, step, jump back, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale for your back bend, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. And then as you exhale, hips come up and back, downward facing dog. Beautiful, everybody. Let's step the right foot up to the right hand, sealing the back of the mat, left foot. Inhale, Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. As you exhale, riding that same breath all the way down through Chaturanga Dandasana, or skipping it all together and just meeting us in downward facing dog. When we're in down dog, let's take a peek up at our hands and not skip a beat. Left foot steps up to that left hand. Inhale, rise up, Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Exhale, ride you all the way down through your version of a vinyasa, yogi's choice, or skip it all together. Meeting us in downward facing dog. Again, I'm just a guide. All of these asanas that I'm offering are just offerings. Maybe make sure that we're checking in with ourselves. We're honoring ourselves. And then in downward facing dog, take 5 breaths here. If your mind begins to wander, it's completely natural, normal. Just recognize the thoughts, but also notice that it's moved away from your breath and link it back to your breath. When you're ready, let's put a deep, generous bend in the knees and look up at your hands. Hop, step, jump up to the top of the mat. Inhale, rise up halfway with the long spine, Ardha Uttanasana. Keep shifting the weight forward into your toes. Exhale, fold back over the thighs, sink the hips into the heels, and lift the arms up for Utkatasana, chair pose. Beautiful. As you exhale, straighten out your legs and bring your hands straight down the center, Samastitihi. Very good, everybody. So from the top of the mat, let's take a nice wide step out to the right and take the real estate of a mat that we have. Let's drop our heels back. And from deep within our right hip socket, let's externally rotate our entire right thigh, knee, shin, and foot out 90 degrees. So let's just not flop that foot open to the right, but let's just mindfully turn the entire leg out to the right. Look at your back left foot. Drop it back at a sharp 45-degree angle and put a deep bend in your right knee. Hands come straight out to a T. You're in Virabhadrasana 2. Let's take a peek over at our right knee. Let's make sure that we can see our second toe. That's my big toe. But if you can see your toe, push your right knee towards your right baby toe. Everybody, at the same time, we're going to draw our torso off of our right thigh to stack our shoulders above our hips. The gaze can be either at the middle finger of the right hand, or it can be at me. Hi. Continuing to breathe here in your Virabhadrasana 2. When you're ready, straighten out that right leg. Hop in your left foot, turning it in at a sharp 90-degree angle. Draw your hips back as you reach forward with your right hand. Reach far forward with your right hand until it comes onto your right shin. Left hand comes straight up into the sky. With an inhale, draw your forehead away from the midline and look up at the corner ceiling. Maybe we push down into that right big toe for a micro bend in the knee. Spread across the chest and the collarbones. As you exhale, continue to get the chest and the belly to move up towards the sky. With an inhale, we always want to find that length. Let's look down at our right big toe. Put a deep bend in that right knee. Hands come down 6 to 12 inches past the pinky toe. With an inhale, lift up off of that left thigh and then open up for Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. Continue to draw that right hip in and under you, stacking the heels in line with each other and then spreading across the chest and the collarbones. You're doing great. The gaze can either be at the floor or side. It's really hard to look up at your hand, but that is also a version. How gracefully can we come back into our Trikonasana triangle? Push down into that right big toe, spread across the chest and the collarbones. Pull the forehead away by looking up at the corner ceiling. And then let's rise up, parallel the feet out. And from deep within our left hip socket, let's externally rotate that left thigh, knee, shin, and foot. Let's drop the right heel back at a 45-degree angle and put a deep bend in our left knee. If you need to widen your stance, go ahead and do that. Hands come out to a T. Let's look down at our left second toe. If you can't see your second toe, continue to draw your left knee towards your left pinky toe. With it, inhale, draw the sternum and the chest away from the thigh by stacking the shoulder heads above the hips. Sink deep into that left knee and keep the gaze over the left middle finger or in the center. And breathe. When things get uncomfortable, we have a tendency to want to hold our breath. When we don't stretch every single day, things can get uncomfortable in the position, but we can just breathe. When you're ready, straighten out that left thigh, hop the right foot in, draw the left hip back as you reach forward with your left hand. Continue to reach forward until your left hand lands on the left shin and the right hand comes up into the sky. I am a very big fan of my block on this side. I'm going to place it behind my left ankle, push down into my left big toe, micro bend in that left knee. With an inhale, pull my forehead away from the midline by looking up at the corner ceiling. As I exhale, get my belly and my chest to rotate up towards the sky. My gaze is going to, again, inhale, pull back, and look at the corner ceiling. Chest and belly continue to rotate up towards the sky. One more breath here. Look down at your left pinky toe, put a bend in your left knee. Take your hand or your block, place it 6 inches past your left pinky toe. With an inhale, rise up for Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. Continue to spread across the chest and the collarbones. It's nice to put a micro bend in that left knee to continue to draw the left hip under you. And breathe. How gracefully can we come back into our Trikonasana triangle? Push down into that left big toe, micro bend in the left knee. Draw the left hip underneath you. With it, inhale, let's pull our forehead away from the midline and look at the corner ceiling. As we exhale, get the belly and the chest to rotate up towards the sky. Both hands come down towards the mat. Step the left foot back. Move it through your version of a vinyasa or skip it altogether, meeting us in downward facing dog. From down dog, put a deep bend in your knees and walk your hands back to meet your feet. Inhale, come up halfway. Keep leaning forward into the toes. Lift the head up for Ardha Uttanasana. As you exhale, fold back over your thighs. Inhale to stand all the way up into the sky. Exhale, hands come straight down the center, Samastitihi. Let's walk our way up to the top of the mat. From the top of the mat, let's revisit that same exact intention that we made at the beginning of our practice. Refocusing on the dristi, that is the point in front of us that is not moving. Shift and anchor all the way into that left foot, coming onto your right tippy toes. With an inhale, grab onto your right ankle and press it against your left thigh. If the range or the motion isn't there, allow the right foot to rest onto the left knee. This is Vrikshasana. It is a tree pose, and it is a misconception that our knees are not strong enough to hold us in this pose. So we're not in this pose long enough for us to cause damage onto our knee. However, if this brings you pain, move out of this pose. Draw your foot onto your gastrocnemius, which is your calf muscle. Inhale, arms float up and above your head to grow your branches. Keep drawing the pubic bone in and up, with the lower belly comes in and up.
and the chest draws up through the sternum. As you exhale, hands come straight down the center and the right foot steps down to meet the left. Hands float down next to this waist. Shift all the weight over into the right foot. Anchor down into it. As you inhale, draw the left ankle into the left hand, placing your left foot onto your right thigh. If you fall out of the pose, it's natural, just means you're human. Inhale, float the arms, grow your branches. The more you focus on your drishti, that's the point that is not moving in front of you, we're able to hold the pose in a little bit more. Another misconception that I hear all the time is, yoga's easy, I can get into that pose, watch. Can you hold the pose without holding your breath? Let's take a nice deep breath in through the nose. And if you're a fan of the cleansing breath, as you exhale, seal the hands on top of you, bring the hands straight down the center, open mouth sigh, exhale, let it all go. Left foot steps bound to meet the right. Very nice. Inhale, draw the arms up and above your head. As you exhale, fold over your thighs, Uttanasana, forward fold. Keep shifting the weight forward into the toes. As you inhale, draw the hands underneath the knees and draw the shoulder heads away from the ears, Ardha Uttanasana. As you exhale, the right foot steps back and then the left foot steps back, top of a push-up. As you exhale, lift the hips up and back, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Inhale to shift forward into your plank pose, come forward onto the tippy toes. And then as you exhale, shift all the weight over into your right hand and come onto the outer edge of your right foot. As you exhale, left hand comes up into the air and stack your left foot on top of your right. My keys are still in the door. Inhale, continue to push down into the hands, draw the tailbone down towards the heels. Inhale, spread across the chest and the collarbones. Maybe you want to look up at the left hand. As you exhale, left hand comes down towards the mat. Hips come up and back, downward facing dog. Very nice, everybody. And shift forward into plank pose. Come into the tippy toes. And then as you exhale, come onto the outer edge of that left foot, stacking the right foot on top of each other. Inhale, open up across the side of the chest. Vashisthasana, side plank. You guys are doing wonderful. Let's lift those hips just a little bit higher, just so we're not sinking into them, but we're also not arching like a huge rainbow here. Spread across the chest and the collarbones. You're doing wonderful. Inhale here. And then as you exhale, right hand comes down. We're at the top of a push-up. Shift forward, come into your plank pose. Exhale, move it through your vinyasa or skip it all together. Meet us in downward facing dog. Walk the hands up to meet the feet. Inhale, come up halfway for a long spine, Ardha Uttanasana. Keep shifting the weight forward into the toes and looking straight down at the mat in front of you. Exhale, fold over the thighs, Uttanasana. Inhale, stand all the way up into the sky. Seal the palms at the top of your head and look at the thumbs. Exhale, hands come straight down the center, Samasthiti. Very nice, you guys. Hands come onto the hips. Step the right foot back so that you're at a heel to heel arch alignment. So that means your right heel is in line with your back right heel. Hands come onto the hips. Draw your left hip back and guide your right hip forward. Allow the hands to come behind you and either make little fists, or if you are a fan of reverse prayer, go ahead and seal your hands behind you and then begin to walk your hands up your back. Draw the draw the elbows in towards each other and the shoulder heads away from the ears. Draw those frontal ribs in so they're not puffing out. Inhale, grow tall to the sides of the waist. As you exhale, hinge over your left thigh and stop once you feel the rounding in your back to occur. Once you feel the rounding starting to occur in your back, stop. Inhale, lift up by 1 inch. Exhale, draw that left hip back and guide that right hip forward. You're doing wonderful. You're in Parsvottanasana, pyramid. Inhale, push down into your left foot to rise all the way up. Exhale, hands come straight down the center. Step your right foot up to meet the left top of the mat. Inhale, grow tall. As you exhale, hands come onto the hips. Step that left foot back. Again, lining up at a heel to heel arch alignment. Guide your right hip back and your left hip forward. Grow tall through the sides of the waist. And then when you're ready, choose your version of how you want to place your hands. So either reverse prayer, and then you're walking your hands up your back. But do you notice how my ribs just puff out? Let's draw those frontal ribs in. Pick the back of the ribs up off of the waist. Grow tall. Draw the elbow heads away from each other. Spread across the chest and the collarbones. Exhale, fold over that right thigh. Stop once you begin to feel the rounding in your upper back. Once you feel the rounding in the upper back, which is right there for me, inhale, rise up by 1 inch. Exhale, draw the right hip back, left hip forward. Continuing to breathe here, never holding our breath when things get hard or uncomfortable. When you're ready, as you push down into your right big toe, push down and then rise up through the chest. Hands come down towards the side. Left foot steps up to meet the right. Very nice, everybody. Hands come straight down the center. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway for a long spine. As you exhale, fold back over your thighs. Inhale to stand all the way up into the sky. Exhale, hands come straight down the center, Samastitihi. Let's shift all of the weight back into our left foot, and then with an inhale, right knee comes into the chest. Interlacing the hands around the right knee. If you like, you can place your right hand into your right hip and then guide your right hip down. Or you can take your peace fingers and then grab onto your big toe and extend your right leg out in front of you. We're in the Utthita Hasta Paragustasana. With an inhale, draw your left hand up into the sky. As you exhale, either grab onto your knee or your toe and open your leg up to the right. It's not going to open up completely parallel, but let's not lean back into the pose. So push down into your left foot. It's a nice strong Tadasana leg. Inhale, grow tall through the sides of the waist, always finding length. And then when you're ready, as we exhale, the left hand crosses over the right knee and the right hand comes straight back behind us. Inhale, grow tall through the sides of the waist. As you exhale, continue to guide that right hip back, down, and the right hand back. Hi, everybody. Inhale, grow tall through the sides of the waist. As you exhale, step the right foot down and the hands come straight down the center, Samastitihi. Very nice. Let's do the other side. Shifting and anchoring over to the right side. As you inhale, lift the left knee into the chest. Or if you're a fan of grabbing onto the toe, grab onto the toe and extend your left foot out in front of you. Inhale, right hand comes straight up into the sky. And then as you exhale, choose to either grab onto the knee or keep a hold of the toe and open up to the left. Having that drishti, that spot in front of you that isn't moving, your focal point, always helps. When you're ready, as we exhale, right hand crosses over the left knee. Left hand slices the air behind you. Inhale, grow tall through the sides of the waist. Exhale, maybe the gaze is at the left hand. When you're ready, inhale, both hands float up to the sky. Exhale, left foot steps down, both hands come straight down the center. Samastitihi. Very nice, you guys. Inhale, arms float up and above your head. Exhale, sink the hips into the heels for Utkatasana chair pose. Look down at your toes to make sure that you can see them. If you can't, keep shifting the weight back into your heels. Hands come down into the chest, and then stick your thumbs into your sternum to lift your chest up. Draw the tailbone down towards the mat, but lift the lower belly in and up. Inhale, grow tall. As you exhale, the left elbow crosses over the right thigh. Utkatasana chair twist. Let's take a peek down at our knees. If we need to, pull that left hip back so that the left knee is in line with the right knee. And then inhale, grow tall to the sides. As you exhale, maybe we use that elbow on the thigh as leverage to continue to get the belly and the chest to move up towards the sky. When you're ready, as you exhale, keep the deep bend in the knees. Fold over your thighs, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway for a long spine, Ardha Uttanasana. As you exhale, hips sink down into the heels, arms lift up into the sky. Utkatasana chair. Exhale, hands come into the sternum. Lift the sternum up, sink a little bit deeper into the toes and the heels. Exhale, right elbow crosses over the left thigh. Utkatasana twist. Look down at the knees. If you need to, pull that right hip back. Exhale, get the belly and the chest and move up towards the sky. Keep the deep bend in the knees. As you exhale, fold over your thighs. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, shift all the weight into the toes. Ardha Uttanasana. As you exhale, right foot steps back, left foot steps back, top of a push-up. Yogi's choice to move it through your version of a vinyasa or skip it all together and meet us in downward facing dog. From this down dog, let's step the right foot up to the right thumb and then put the left knee down onto the floor. Inhale, lift the arms up into the sky. As you exhale, the left elbow comes onto the right knee so that you're in a low lunge twist. Inhale, draw the forehead away from the midline. Right hip goes back, and then straighten or parallel your left thigh with the wall behind you. So let's not just dump all of our weight into that hip. Pull that left thigh back. When you're ready, left hand comes down towards the mat. Right hand floats up into the sky. As you exhale, bend your left knee and grab onto your left foot with your right hand. Inhale, spread across the chest and the collarbones. As you exhale, right hand comes down towards the mat. Pull your right hip back by straightening out your right foot. Draw your right toes back. Hands can walk underneath you. Maybe you take your blocks to elevate the floor up so you're in a half split. Continue to draw your arms and your sternum through your arms. Put a deep bend in that right knee. Hands come down towards the mat. Pick up the left foot and step the right foot back, top of a push-up. Yogi's choice to either move it through a vinyasa or skip it all together and meet us in downward facing dog. From down dog, left foot steps up to the left hand, right knee comes down towards the mat. As we inhale, lift up so that right thigh is parallel with the wall behind you and you're in a low lunge. As you exhale, hands come into the chest, right elbow crosses over the left thigh. Keep drawing back with that right thigh. As you inhale, pull your forehead away from the midline. Maybe you're using your elbow on your thigh for leverage. When you're ready, right hand comes down towards the mat. Left hand comes up into the sky. Bend the right knee and grab onto the right foot with the left hand. Inhale, spread across the chest and the collarbones. Exhale, continuing to deepen your twist wherever you are. Let go of the right foot. Both hands come down towards the mat. Straighten out the left leg by pulling the left hip back. You're in a half split. Start to walk your hands back so they land underneath your shoulders. Maybe you use your hands on the blocks to elevate the floor, but continue to draw the lower belly in and up. Put a nice deep bend into that left knee. Step the right knee up. Step the left foot back. Top of a push-up. Yogi's choice to move it into a vinyasa or just skip it all together and meet us in down dog. But if you're skipping the vinyasa, skip it because you're honoring yourself and your body, not because you're bored. From Adho Mukha Svanasana, let's come into our plank pose. Allow both of the elbows to come down towards the mat, so we come into a forearm plank. So drive back through both of your heels. Draw the pubic bone up towards your shoulder heads, and then draw the lower belly in and up. Pull the sternum and the chest through the arms. Keep the gaze at the edge of the mat. Lift the hips up and begin to walk your feet towards your face for dolphin pose. When you're ready, allow both knees to come down towards the mat. Untuck your toes and sink your hips onto your heels for Balasana, child's pose. Keep the hands extended straight out in front of you for an active child's pose. So we can push down into the hands so that the upper outer arms move down towards the mat and the biceps move up towards the sky. When you're ready, let's look up at our hands. Come back into our Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Step the right foot up to the right hand. Left knee comes down towards the mat. Inhale, rise up. Keep the hands on the hips. Draw the right hip back and the left hip forward. Interlace the hands behind you. And then as you lift the chest and the sternum up, draw the interlaced hands down back your left thigh. Continue to draw the frontal ribs in. And as you exhale, hands come down towards the mat. The right foot steps back, top of a plank. As you exhale, left foot steps up, right knee comes down. Inhale for your low lunge. Interlace your hands behind you, lift the chest and the sternum. And then as you exhale, allow the hands, the interlaced hand, to draw down your right thigh. Draw the frontal ribs in towards each other. And then as you exhale, both hands come down towards the mat. Step the right foot knee back so that you come onto the tops of both of your knees. We're going to set up for Ustrasana, camel pose. So we're standing on our knees, push down into your shins. You can either tuck your toes or if you like, leave them flat. I'm choosing to tuck my toes. With an inhale, float the arms forward and above. Allow the pinkies to lead for a full external rotation. When you get to the top of your head, draw your hands outwards. Inhale, grow tall through the sides of the waist. As you exhale, draw the right hand back and then the left hand back. Inhale, grow tall through the sides. As you exhale, draw the frontal ribs in. Draw up through the frontal pubic bone. Spread across the chest and the collarbones. When you're ready to rise up from this pose, use your thigh muscles to rise up. Sitting down onto your heels and then folding back over your thighs for Balasana, child's pose. Rolling up one vertebrae at a time. Shift all the weight onto one side of your hip and then draw the legs straight out in front of you. Allow the feet to extend straight out in front of you. Internally rotate your thighs inwards so that all 10 toes are pointing straight up into the sky. Root down into your sit bones and then push down into your hands next to your waist. As you push down into your hands, lift the chest and the sternum up into the sky. Inhale, spread across the chest and the collarbones. As you exhale, continue to push down into the mat. Continue to grow tall in this Dandasana pose, dorso flexing your feet so the toes are pointing towards your face. When you're ready, with an inhale, draw the right ankle into your right hand. As you exhale, draw the right foot into the left thigh. Inhale, float the arms up and above your head. As you exhale, slowly rotate your torso towards your left thigh and then hinge over your left thigh, grabbing onto your shin or interlacing your hands around your foot. Janu Sirsasana on the right. Here, noticing how your heart rate is beginning to lower. Inhale, draw the chest up halfway for a long spine. As you exhale, let go of the left foot and draw both feet out in front of you. When you're ready, on an inhale, left ankle draws into the left hand, and then as you exhale, push your left foot into the right thigh. Inhale, draw both of the hands up and above your head, growing tall through the sides of the waist. As you exhale, slightly rotate your torso towards your right thigh, and then hinge over your right leg, interlacing either around the shin or around the toes. But as your heart rate has begun to lower and your inhales have begun to lengthen to meet the exhales, inhale to come up halfway for a long spine. And then when you exhale, draw both legs out in front of you. Maybe give them a shake. Inhale. When you're ready, come into Sukhasana. This is where your left leg is going to cross in front of the right. Inhale. Grow tall to the sides of the waist by picking the back of the ribs up off of the waist. As you exhale, fold over your crossed thighs, walking your hands forward. If you have your block and you like to place that underneath your forehead on the hairline, that might feel nice. But let's continue to root down through the right hip bone and through the left hip bone. Inhale, lift your head up halfway. As you exhale, walk your hands back. Change the interlacing of your legs. So now that your right shin crosses in front of the left. Root down through the sit bones, grow tall. And then as you exhale, hinge over both of your legs by walking your hands forward. As the body begins to cool down, the mind's going to begin to wander a lot more and speak natural and normal. Always honor and recognize your thoughts, but notice that it's moved away from your breath. Inhale, come up halfway for a long spine. As you exhale, walk yourself back up. Extend both of your legs out in front of you. Inhale, arms float up and above your head. As you exhale, hinge over both of your thighs for Paschimottanasana. Choosing to either grab onto the sides of your legs or interlace the hands around your feet. Continue to drive back through the hips. Inhale, come up halfway for a long spine. As you exhale, roll down onto your back, articulating your spine, one vertebrae at a time. Coming into our final resting pose, or our final pose of the day, Shavasana. We made it, you guys. with a nice deep breath in through the nose. As you exhale, sink a little bit deeper into the mat and allow the right hand to roll open to the right so the palm faces up into the sky. And then as you exhale, let the left hand roll open to the left. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Feel how the chest rises up and the back of the ribs expand across the mat. And then together, let's open our mouth and sigh it out. Let the hips get heavy and the right foot to roll out to the right. Deep breath in through the nose. Gentle sigh out through the mouth as the left leg begins to roll out to the left. Shavasana. Again, if your mind begins to wander to a memory or a thought, a sensation in the leg or a noise in the room, honor those thoughts, but recognize it's pulled you away from your breath. Noticing how the inhales are allowed to lengthen out to meet the exhales. And noticing how the exhales have become a lot more gentler, smoother, quieter. As we find stillness in our last pose of the day, I'm going to let you rest for a nice Shavasana. Don't think that I left you here. But let's begin to breathe together. With an inhale, allow the chest to rise up. Feel how the lower belly pulls in and up. And then as you exhale, notice how the belly continues to sink in towards the mat and it continues to get smaller. Inhale, let the chest rise up. Smooth, gentle exhale, let the belly get smaller. Inhale in through the nose. Smooth, gentle exhale out through the nose. I think my microphone has been off this entire time. Oh my goodness, you guys.